Do you want to add 50 students in the next 30 days to your school or academy? You gotta watch this video because I'm going to uncover the entire strategy to doing that exact same thing. Hey everybody, my name is Jennifer Waters and I'm the founder of 7-Figure Dojo. We actually help school and academy owners turn their passion into profit. My journey actually started a long time ago when we were almost going to shut down our martial arts school's doors. Now, I was graduating high school and at that point, the school just wasn't profitable. My dad had a full-time job and I just was so passionate about martial arts that I didn't want the school to shut down. So we invested into mentorship and marketing systems. And over the course of the next 4.5 to 5 years, we took it from a few $1,000s a month to hitting $1 million a year. Ever since then, we've been hitting $1 million a year, so it's been about 14 years at the time of this video. And these are the secrets that we've found to add 50 students in 30 days. Now, we do this quite frequently. We add on 50 students every 30 days, and I'm gonna give you the secrets and the tactics that we've found that really work so you can replicate the exact same thing in your own school or academy. Okay, so the very first thing comes down to marketing. If you don't have a good marketing system in place, it's gonna be virtually impossible for you to actually add on 50 students in 30 days. Now, the type of marketing that you wanna crank out is you wanna make sure that you have cold marketing as well as warm traffic marketing, both sources. And at this point, I like to call it omnipresence marketing. You gotta be everywhere if you really wanna churn out 50 students in 30 days in your local area with one school. Now, I'm not talking about you doing this over 3 or 4 or 5 different locations. I'm talking about one location in one town, getting 50 students in 30 days. How do you go about doing that? Have your marketing on point. What this means is that if you've got warm traffic all the time, people that know about you, they're aware of you because of referrals, they're aware of you because they walked in, they're aware of you because they went to your website, then you're doing pretty good in the warm traffic area. Maybe you even have an event where they can come to the event with a friend of theirs that already takes classes inside of your school. That's the type of warm traffic that I'm talking about. And for the most part, this is what I see that a lot of smaller schools do. They have warm traffic, people that are either problem aware, like they know they need help with focus and that martial arts helps with that, or people that are product aware. They know you teach martial arts classes and they think it's the right time to actually start. Most schools get that when they're between the 50 to 100 student mark. But scaling past that, getting past 100 students, where a lot of people get stuck because they can't do the next piece, which is marketing to cold traffic. Cold traffic are people that are not aware of you. They're also not aware of the thing that you teach. Whether you teach martial arts, whether you teach basketball, whether you teach music, doesn't matter. They just aren't aware of you. And so how do you actually get them to become aware of you? Well, that's the next question. So getting them to become aware of you comes down to online advertising. I mean, you could do more expensive things. Like you could try and put a billboard up on the side of the road, or you could really invest into old school methods like flyers and mailers that you send out in the mail that literally cost you thousands of dollars, but don't get you the same return as getting on social media. The challenge is that for a lot of school and academy owners, they just don't know how to run social media ads. And those that actually do run social media ads, they spend a lot of time trying to perfect it. And so they have a hard time continuing on building up the rest of the school, focusing on sales, focusing on the content of the classes, because they're spending so much time sitting behind a desk trying to figure out Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google, etc. So the solution for a lot of people is to actually put all those eggs in the basket of someone who actually knows how to run social media advertising. And that's what we're going to talk about next. Okay, so when it comes to actually figuring out how to run social media advertising, you've got a couple of choices. You try to do it yourself, which is what I just mentioned a moment ago, or you look at a company, a person, people that can do it for you. This is actually just being completely transparent with you guys. This is actually how I started getting involved with other martial arts schools, is because back in the day, I got tired of using martial arts marketing agencies, people that either had never had a school, they didn't know the ins and outs of it, or they had had a school, but they started doing martial arts marketing because their school wasn't successful. And I just found it hard to believe that you could actually do both. Like you could run a martial arts marketing agency that prompted people to invest in what you were doing if you didn't have a successful school. Like it just didn't make sense to me. So back in the day when I started thinking through that, I started going, well, heck, I need to figure this thing out for my own school. And that's what we did. We started figuring out the marketing. I spent hours and hours and hours. Now keep in mind, I didn't have to teach classes anymore. We already had staff members doing it. I didn't really have to stay in the day-to-day. I didn't even have to be on the mat teaching. We had team members that were doing that. So at this point, it was really whatever project that I wanted to get into. And for me, it made the most sense to put all my focus on how to figure out social media marketing. And so I did that. And at that time was also the same time that the world started to fall apart in 2020. And so from there, what ended up happening is we had schools reaching out to us asking, how are you staying alive? Like, what are you doing to keep your school running? And so we taught them what we were doing. And so that started my first really effort with working with other schools and academies around the world. We had some schools in Australia, some in the UK, here in the US, and also in Canada. And at that point in time, when we kind of made it through the 2020 thing that happened to the world that I don't want to say because, it would get blocked on here. We made it through all of that. The next step for us was, okay, well, what do we do now? We have these schools that are working with us and they want to continue working with us. And at that point, they wanted to use my marketing team that I had built to then be able to market their schools too. And so from there, it was more like me loaning out my team that I was using in my own school to market to my local area to also do it in their local area. And that is the evolution of the company that we run now, which is called 7-Figure Dojo. And so at this stage, we help school and academy owners all across the world. We've helped probably about 150 to 200 by the time that this video is being made, to do that exact same thing, to actually get in front of people that are cold traffic. Now, you can do this exact same thing. Like if you're at this point where you can spend hours and hours a day and you can have a full-time job figuring out social media and running your school, then maybe that's the route that you go. Like maybe you're already there, but in that case, you're probably already making money and you're probably already enrolling 50 students in 30 days. But for those of you who aren't doing that and you're trying to do that on a regular basis, at that point, you have to start deciding, is this something where I leverage my time doing something that's going to be more valuable that only I can do? And to be honest, running your social media advertising probably isn't the case. Like it's something that you can delegate out. What I can't do for you is I can't come into your school, run your classes, teach your team, like all that kind of stuff. But what I can do is I can give you the recipe for running ads, and I can help you grow your school through content like this, or through working more closely with me and my team to help you actually transform your school and transform your passion into profit. Overall, you've got to get ahead of the marketing game. You've got to be able to make sure that you are getting out to the masses with warm traffic and cold traffic. And then there's one more crucial step that must occur if you really want to get 50 students in 30 days. And I'm glad you stuck around this long because most people totally screw this up. They'll get a ton of leads, but they don't do anything with them. And that, my friends, is sales. So we need to take a look at how to make sure your sales process matches everything that you need to get 50 students in 30 days. All right, so your sales process has to be on point. You have to make sure that when you're utilizing that sales process, that people are ready to be able to see an extreme benefit that you have to offer, something that is transformational, something that gets them to make a decision within the first 7 days of them making contact with you. That's the real secret to 50 students in 30 days. You see, I see far too many people trying to run around, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to do like these long trials, 2 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that, instead of making a very short sales cycle. So that from the time someone sees an ad, books an appointment, comes in, if we can get them in that pocket of 7 days or less from making that decision to enroll into our program, we've hit the jackpot and we've hit the sweet spot. Because you got to think to yourself, you're going to need to enroll 12 students every week in order to get to the 50. I know that only equals 48, but you get the idea. 12 to 13 students every week to get to 50. Well, in order to get 12 to 13 students every week in order to get to 50, you're going to need between 60 to 100 leads per week. Out of the 60 to 100 leads per week, you're going to need to make sure that you're getting the majority of them set to come in for an introductory lesson and then get them to show for the lesson and then convert them. So if your conversions are messed up in any of those areas right there, it's going to be much harder for you to enroll 50 students in 30 days. And if you have a long sales cycle, meaning 14 days, 21 days, a month, you're not going to see them actually say yes to getting started until far after you've spent the money to acquire them, which means that your cash flow is going to be quite erratic. And it's also going to be very detrimental to the healthy growth of your school. You need cash in the door this month, and then you need to take a portion of that cash and put it back out there for marketing. As always, I hope that you have got a ton of value out of this video. If you did, do me a huge favor, hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in our next video.